Top laners, Nien and Dyrus, both brought teleport once again. I think we're going to be seeing this pretty much throughout the entire week. But CLG has been the tricky team at level 1. Yeah. They have pulled off a lot of maneuvers to get kills, even before the trinket wards could be placed, only at 2 minutes. Look for CLG to try something very creative here, especially with Thresh.
Everybody's ready, raring to go. We're going to have Xpecial on Leona this game. He himself has actually only played 3 unique champions in Annie, Thresh, and Leona. You're always going to get one of them. Xpecial likes to stick with one of those 3. And this time he'll be throwing down the solar flares again. Had some pretty crazy ones last week. You saw in the preview show one of those huge plays with a 4-man solar flare. People
aren't going to be target banning the support against a team with as many threats as TSM.
Yeah.
So it's a very safe strategy there for Xpecial to just cycle those 3 supports. Leona's also the only support he's undefeated on of the 3. A lot of stats going in TSM's favor here, just from Champion Select.
Well, CLG is one of the teams that has a higher KDA, so maybe they can match that this game. We know Bjergsen is on a good clip to be breaking that one this season if he can keep it up. And right now, it's just going to be regular start. We saw a lot of invading coming from Game 1 and Dig versus Evil Geniuses, but TSM and CLG are just going to play it safe.
But note how Xpecial did the Relic Shield plus Potion plus Ward opening, which is an option I think a lot more supports are going to be going with now that they cannot place their Trinket Ward until 2 minutes. It puts the late invade ward down where the late invade would generally come towards TSM's blue buff down on that bottom side of the map. And now gives TSM a little bit more freedom to roam around.
Well, so far, they have a 2v1 in the making.
I actually feel like they're going to catch CLG walking this late invade. I think CLG is going to walk over that ward, but it's yet to be seen. Are they going to go the roundabout way?
He didn't see him.
No, CLG did not get spotted by that ward.
Don't get antsy in the pantsy. Oh, no! Oh, no! Huh, wait a minute! No!
It's because they didn't know where CLG was. It's that absence of knowledge that ends up happening.
Very, very close game of cat and mouse to start it off.
Ooh, this means Odd One's going to get counter jungled on his blue. He's most likely not going to... Depending on which way Dexter runs out, Odd One would go to the wrong thing. And Dexter's taken the full route of counter jungling. I really want to see what happens with these junglers here. They're actually... They could very well be on a collision course, depending if Odd One comes over.
You can see him, Dexter trying to...
He's going straight for the blue. Good guess. Because he has a support with him.
Yeah.
And they kept Dyrus up top to jungle because they see the 2v1. Very smart move by Odd One going straight.
Got to get the team synergy. We talked about it in the first game. The early game here in 4.4 is all about the team movement. Got to get a little bit of help from everybody coming out here. Dexter feels like he can do it alone, and he makes a good impact, but Nian's soaking up his wraith as well, so it's going to have to be a little bit slower.
Yeah, and the top laner is becoming second junglers very early on in the game. We're going to potentially see that double turret trade once again. This is one of the implications of the trinket change. You wouldn't think it at first glance, but since the lanes are very difficult to scout, you have a lot of blind invades, and the teleport chain is for cooldown reduction. All of these things become much more possible, and we're going to see a lot more turret trading.
Bjergsen going hard on Link right in the beginning, but he does have the flasks, so he's drinking up those consumables to keep himself safe. We see top lane and bottom lane going to go down, mirroring last game here. It was a bit different of a start, but they do find themselves in the top and bottom lane.
And the time is very similar.
That timing, yep.
Yeah, as far as killing the turrets. So these second turrets will probably fall about the same time too. And one added effect of this is so strange. You have the top laners jungling and the junglers laning. Eventually people are just going to shove with the top laner and let the jungle actually jungle. It would be much more efficient, if you think about it.
You think so? I don't know.
Especially if they're bringing teleport.
Got to get that red buff burn on the turret, man. Just kidding. 4 minutes on this one, and we are looking for CLG to drop the bottom second tier, or the top. And we'll look like it's going to be the top bottom turret going down, back and forth. Got to flip it around. 6.7 on each side, and now this opens up the map. Where is the vision going to go? Usually we see the teams slow down a little bit because they don't have enough of that vision just yet.
Yeah, so nothing to be gained really by either team. Since both the top laners decided to jungle, it was kind of a matter of who jungled a bit faster. Nien jungled slightly faster. And now it's because CLG is rotating for the Dragon. They're very low to this Dragon, though. TSM's not in position to collapse, though. So overall, CLG with the bottom lane take, because they peeled back for the Dragon, gets this one as well, which will give them a slight edge.
This is what EG did last time as well. They were able to get it. So kind of following suit here with what happens in the 2v1 swap. You're going to have all 3 in the bottom. Why not grab the extra gold? So CLG now pulling up about 400 gold on that. Link usually goes and does a roam at level 5 on that Ziggs because everybody's expecting you to back. And he does get that gank off. But now with so much chaotic switching up, it's just a farm lane for him.
These are CLG's strengths as a team, actually, recently. They focus very heavily on objectives, and they generally get them. Starting the game like this just starts the objective game early and neutralizes the laning phase where TSM is quite strong here. Double Lift and Aframu are probably the strongest 2v2 laners for CLG, so they're the ones that are probably not too pleased about this one, but they'll do it for the team.
Double Lift has been thrown out of his natural habitat very early in this one. He won't be farming too much.
Back to the jungle.
He'll find it. He will find it. We'll see if TSM can get the poaching crew out and figure out where he is.
Yeah, level 4 wraiths being done by Double Lift.
Hey
nice,
man, gotta get what you can. Big special. Being
he got the pink ward.
Omnipresent all over the map. Doing the support duty. Not too much pressure from both teams. They're definitely giving each other the consideration here in the early game. No ganks towards Bjergsen or Link in mid after the lanes have kind of panned out in the way they have. The junglers is just trying to soak up what they can. So slow. Probably going to be that next Dragon or one of the ward engagements we talk about. Yeah,
or maybe just a big shove in the top lane. How many people are CLG going to send for this lane? Because they currently got 3 on the way. This is big because Dyrus is freezing the lane, whereas Nyen was pushing the lane. So now CLG does have a potential to push. We're going to see a 5v4 up here if we're not careful.
Great timing. They know Dragon's down and they have the timer on it, so they have all the time to play around up here. Looks like they're going to be able to cut off Bjergsen from getting there, so he'll force mid, draw Link back down as well. Kill may not come here, but the turret should eventually.
Yeah, Link doesn't want to spend too much time away from home, but teleport actually coming in. 4v4 dive attempt.
This is going to be big. Nyen taking a few turret shots there. They disengage quite well. Nyen throwing down pillar to help. And it looks like they are going to still get a few shots.
There's 5 people up here now for CLG.
That's the hook onto X Special. Nobody's able to get in there for the play. Dexter's a little far off. Gets Tempest down for first blood. And he is going to be hit up. How did Link get all the way back there? He's in the fight too. They Lantern out from Afromu. And it looks like they're going to be safe. No move from Bjergsen in mid just yet. There's another kill coming in. Burnout could be coming up for Dyrus, but they wait on that one. 2 kills and mid-turret damage.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty disastrous early on for CLG because they are the ones that invested 5 people up there. Oh, but can they get Dyrus?
That is nice. Very good job coming in from Double Lift and Aframu. Just talking about that bot lane.
That almost evens it out. Now you just have to consider that Bjergsen got all that uncontested farm in the mid lane because of the 5v4. Slight edge to TSM. You don't expect to see a 5v4 in the top lane this early on in the game. Only 2 people, I believe, had their ultimates here. There's the Dragon's Descent and the Ziggs ult to come up here. Nyen just pinging 6 as well because the Lee Sin queued. Decides to take it, or tried to take it. Never mind.
Oh, there's Link.
Yeah,
how did he
Link
get
came
back
all the way
there?
inside, and then he flashed in. But see, Nyen had the turret at this. They ran out of minions, and CLG couldn't fully support that dive. With the way the fight ended up happening behind the turret there, if CLG could have somehow all moved through the turret, they may have had the upper hand. But because they isolated themselves, it ended up being a 2v3 post dive.
Very risky from Counter Logic Gaming. And that was that teleport forcing the fight in. Usually we see them being very methodical and strategic about their movements around. We've seen some of their games go in a win for them with very low kills. But it's going to be different here, it seems, as we see the aggression coming out early in the game. Only 9 minutes in, already 2 kills to each side and 2 turrets down as both teams going very hard at this double turret takedown and then kind of feeling each other out here, sort of towards the mid game.
Yeah, it's a pretty big chess match right now. Both teams heavily invading. Vision control is paramount at this point.
You can see.
But the
very dark.
The sweepers this early on in the game are not very effective since no one's level 9 at this point, and getting vision is hard. That was a nice ward take by Dyrus, actually.
Oh, do it
another one. Good, good.
Ah!
Much more important than you would think here.
Yeah.
Vision control.
That's all the wards down except for the vision one that Nyen has up. He's really not helping this fight too much. He's going to be going down here. Good focus down by the team, and that is the vision that's able to give that to him.
Straight up vision denial right there. As TSM continues to roam around. Every time someone goes to farm a free lane, the other team takes a power play immediately. That's what TSM is doing with this red buff because Doublelift is off in the top lane.
The Wild Turtle's in mid. He's going to get a Mega Inferno bomb, but he's all right. The whole team of Counterlogic Gaming is trying to anticipate TSM in their jungle, not who's mid. They have so many things on their plate to prioritize right now. They just can't get to each one. So more gold in the favor of Team SoloMid as they split open the middle of the map, and they just have the bottom turret going down in probably 40 seconds after Dragon because they're going to pressure.
I wonder if they can catch Turtle though. He's invisible. Dexter couldn't make it in range in time to get the reveal. Now they're trying to push right down the mid lane. See, it's just one move followed by a counter.
Oh, that was nice. He actually walked out of call for help range on the turret.
But all 5 of TSM collapsing.
Xpecial doing what he does best, delivering the sun over to CLG, and it looks like Aphromoo getting a hook he may not want altogether. They start to back off of that. TSM saves mid turret. Dragon's going to be up in 8.
Yeah, Dexter kicked Dyrus out of his Dragon's Descent, which saved CLG some pain right there. But Dragon is up and Dexter is very, very low. Teleport down from Dyrus, so this could be a 5v4. Once again, soon as someone goes to the other side of the map, does the other team make a power play?
Culling doing some good damage. It looks like they will have to back off here. Pillars up, may stop the re-engage, but it does not look like they fully want the Dragon. Turtle gets hooked, but they do not go in without enough vision over the wall. They only want what's in front of them, and it looks like they'll get it as well.
It's so strange seeing team fights this early on in the game because not everyone is powered up to fight. So you see very slow kills, very drawn out engagements. Ward control is so damn important because the numbers are what matter right now. And with the Dragon being on them, they're getting a little bit low. Odd One trying to delay for Shyvana.
TSM so far ahead in these fights. 7 for Odd One, a level 8 for Turtle. He's 2 ahead of Doublelift here coming into these matchups. Neither of them with a Bloodthirst are finished, however. They're just looking at the damage that they have on their abilities over each other at this moment. Gold very close in this game as TSM wavering back and forth on that Dragon. It stays alive for now, but I think they'll be able to get it.
Well, with how low the levels are in this game.
Yeah, Aphromoo doesn't have ult yet.
Yeah, the Dragon does such substantial damage. Basically, a fight either needs to happen or you need to catch multiple people backing in order to force something.
There you go. Have Bjergsen put pressure on the mid lane, relieve pressure on Dragon, and it looks like we're going to get a good chase about here. A little cat and mouse between Dexter and Bjergsen's going to give TSM the Dragon. It just takes a little play off the ball for them to get what they want.
Yeah, CLG rotated too much to the mid lane right here. Zigzalt's a desperation attempt. Odd One with the patience.
This is going to be going for broke. If they really try to get into this fight, TSM can easily turn this match. It's 4v3 from what they see. Doublelift on the bottom. May be able to get some good damage, and Xpecial puts himself right in the fray. Dyrus goes down immediately. Xpecial's going to be hit up here. He's chased down by Nien. He does not go down. He thought the Ignite had him. They almost turn it back around. Turtle flashing over the wall. Bjergsen stays alive, and they got the Dragon coming out of this one, so not too shabby.
Nien lost a kill there, and it means TSM comes ahead in this fight. Very close fights happening in this game. Take a look at Dyrus as he tries to jump away. He gets flayed again. He hasn't been able to get a Dragon to send off. Because of that, it looked like CLG had the end, but then Yen abandons the team as Bjergsen actually came around the back from here, and Bjergsen is the one who flies over the wall to finish off Dexter. These fights are incredibly contested and close right now.
Very chaotic movement in that for CLG. Just down 1,000 gold here as they're getting kills in these fights as well, but losing that Dragon, losing an objective before the fight is definitely going to start and give TSM enough of these power plays where they can get ahead in the game. Dyrus should be able to get this. Twin bites it out, gets himself down. He should be able to get this one too. Oh, played off of it. Aphromoo with the ward skills.
These are the vision wars of today's games. Bjergsen with a very early DFG. Link's going to grab this blue buff. It also gives him enough gold for an Athene's Unholy Grail. He's going to want to get that as quickly as possible. I really like the Tiamat choice by Nien on Trundle right now, just because all of these engagements have happened around people going to free lanes and farming, and pushing waves quickly is so important in this game. Trundle is actually a very slow wave pusher, by normal standards, the Tiamat changes that and allows him to shove very quickly. So now they have the guy with teleport being able to shove lanes, which is actually very cool.
Make special, he is almost in range. That Solar Flare is up, but they do not decide to use it. They wanted the Zenith Blade first. They begin to back off and set up, see what kind of builds are coming out here. Link just finishing that Unthene's Unholy Grail. Bjergsen has that Deathfire Grass though, so Doublelift has to be watching his back. He does not have too much safety other than not being in that range to die.
Yeah, CLG pushing down really heavily here. And I do have to point out a stat we found a little while back this week. Bjergsen hasn't bought a pink ward yet in North American LCS. He has won this game.
Oh, Alphamu gets hit up pretty hard. I don't think he'll be able to make it out. Very nice job by the spray and payback from Wild Turtle. TSM special, maybe able to get hit. Oh! Odd one, the General ducks.
Is here though.
Lets his teammate go down on that one. A lot of damage. Link throws out the last bomb, and the minefield won't be enough. They're getting a little too crazy on this engagement, and that is a lot of turn shots to tank right out of the Dragons once again. And it looks like they try to keep going for the kills. Dyrus goes for the bite. He takes down Lucian, but it's going to be the back and forth trades here. 1 for 3.
I am so impressed with CLG's ability to stop Dragon's descent. Dyrus has not got an ultimate off on CLG this game. It is incredible. That's the reason CLG came ahead in this fight. So yes, Aframu gets caught very early on because he had some turret hits on him, and that really begins things, of course. And then CLG is slowly collapsing down. Remember, Bjergsen isn't here. The level of skill shots in this game is extremely high with that knockback on a TSM. This is an incredibly dangerous dive right here because Dyrus has the ability to destroy someone. He waits until he could use it for an execute, and CLG knows that. As soon as he tried to use it, he kicked him back. It was ridiculous timing by Dexter. That's what made Turtle commit as well, because they thought that Dragon's Descent would kill Ling. Because it doesn't, CLG cleans up the fight.
Pretty much kicking off an audio cue.
Yeah, unreal. But one thing I do have to point out again is Bjergsen hadn't bought a pink ward up until this point in the North American LCS. Normally TSM completely relies on Odd One and Next Special to put the majority of their pink wards down. But the reason I think he bought one this game is there's so many early turret kills, and there are more vision battles and rotations in this game than any game TSM has played this season. He felt the need to buy the pink ward this game because it is such a paramount objective right now just to have control of vision.
Making sure that they have all the wards, clearing out the pinks they need to get, given the Odd One. Wild Turtle safety as well coming into these fights. CLG within the fights is prioritizing amazingly, as we have so far seen. Around the map though, TSM's able to grab that lead, but the 1,000 gold lead is now stretched, or squeezed down I should say, to 600 in favor of Team SoloMid, and CLG is looking to make moves as well. Dexter pink warding down above the Baron, and they're all going to start hovering towards the top.
And the team play has been so important in this game, as we've already mentioned, but just to kind of illustrate how CLG is doing it a little bit better, Link and Doublelift both have 100% kill participation at this very short juncture of the game, whereas TSM is much lower than that. You can see 7 kills. The most someone has participated is 5. So CLG is actually grouping up more than TSM, and TSM is prioritizing farm a little bit more. That's why they have more CS in lanes.
Yeah, it's something we've seen CLG do since the beginning of the season, especially once they got Dexter. Moving around the map, avoiding the team and getting a kill along the way if you can. You see in early 2v1 swaps, you can get somebody swapping back. CLG works on that almost the whole game. Yeah. Now to the top lane, they grab down the turret, hopefully opening the map to get some of those swaps.
Yeah, and speaking to the strategy of these teams right now, TSM trying to get farm inside lanes. Wild Turtle is trying to finish up some items while CLG is maintaining this 5-man mob in the top lane. How dangerous will this dive be? How willing is CLG to dive in here? Because the levels are still fairly low.
Got a very far Wild Turtle crawling over now. Looks like he's going to actually grab Dragon as he tells the team to kite, not fight. We're going to get some extra gold across the map.
Yeah, TSM finds yet another pink ward. I will say all this movement as well has really neutralized the Odd One's effectiveness early on in the game. He hasn't been able to exploit lanes.
Yep.
Inability to ward him out because everything's been a big mob. Dyrus gets caught.
Oh,
gets away this time though.
The vision wars. Yeah, finally, it's used in defense. Maybe it's going to be Nien on Subjugate is there. One last hit from Nien, and again he cannot close out the kill. Unfortunately, Odd One's there creating too much pressure, but the team, they would have had that.
just an inch more for Nien, and he would have had 2 more kills in this game, but let's see if the pressure they created there gives them yet another turret. They're really laser focused on objectives here. The whole reason they got that is because they were baiting around the red buff.
Erickson over to blue. They know the team has a pretty good upper hand on the situation. They may get some damage on the turret for CLG, but they're not going to take it. Team SoloMid is just too big right now. Erickson backing. TSM really not forcing anything.
CLG pretty low on health and mana right here, which is why Xpecial decided to go in there. The turret is barely finished off there. CLG gets what they came for.
Gold is tied. 31 threes, 5-4 in turrets now. What a game so far. Second game of the day here. Like we said, 90 games in. And to look at the head-to-head between these two teams, it's 3-0 in favor of Team SoloMid. CLG's putting up a good fight right now.
Yeah, and even though CLG is fairly unlikely to finish the regular season in the top 2, this fight and this game is really to try and prove their competitiveness for the top spot in North America. For so long this year, it's really been a conversation between TSM and Cloud9, who's the best in North America. But if CLG can win this one, they will have proven to beat Cloud9 in a game, to beat TSM in a game, as they continue to try and improve through the end of this season. It is really a huge confidence game for CLG, as they too want to be considered for that North American All-Star spot.
Well, when we talked to Link, he said those were the guys to beat him. Team SoloMid and Cloud9. Why? Because they will constantly out-rotate us. They will make the better moves, and they will make it before we do. So far, CLG has been able to read that book pretty quick and adapt this game. So they're staying and stop the bleeding that was happening in the early game. Staying in this one.
So will things calm down here, now that so many turrets have been pushed back?
Right.
Is a bit of a question. The Dragon is going to be very important, and getting vision control over the Dragon and Baron area is so contentious. And as more turrets fall, the amount of map that you need to control just increases, because there's no turrets for safety. Also, when you consider there's 2 stealth champions on TSM and a LeBlanc.
Say that.
And a LeBlanc.
It's a little
Link
scarier.
is so much danger.
Just about those 2 stealth champions you were talking about.
Notice how he barriered there too, because he didn't know what else was coming at him, and he thought he was going to be dead, even though the Lantern came in to save him eventually. That's a lot of vulnerability now for Link.
We'll see what they can continue to produce here with the pressure they just created in mid. With double lift at the bottom, this is a
Did not want to show there, but he had to, and you could see he had second thoughts about going there, because CLG does not have vision control over the Baron area either, and they know this is a 4v5. Expect a scout maybe with the Ziggs ultimate.
Mega Inferno Bomb, yep, that is up. That's going to be the Baron debuff if they're able to hit that on, but TSM leaves the base. The Solar Flare kind of hitting wide on that one. They go on to Nien. They're going to have to put a lot of pressure on this. Link does not get the satchel charge he wants in this one. Bjergsen's almost pulled into the fight. Odd1's going to go down very quickly here. CLG finds what they want. Nien starts to return, and they want the initiate here. Subjugate is already down. He's going to try to lock down Xpecial. Could have the pillar coming up quite soon. Throws down the movement speed. Xpecial flashes over. Dyrus makes it in with Dragon's Descent. He's able to get one, but they turn it down. On the backside is the spray and pray triple kill from Wild Turtle as he puts the shell on and goes hard. Now it's 3v1 as they chase out double lift.
That is why Wild Turtle picked Twitch in this game, finding the corridors that CLG would chase into and wrecking people with spray and pray. What a fight there, back and forth. You can see right at the start, a missed initiation by TSM as CLG very handily disengaged, and then Link not jumping all the way away, actually baits TSM a little bit in there. They kick Odd1 forward and trap him in, but then CLG feels like they have the upper hand, and it's all about kiting back for TSM. But notice how Wild Turtle's in stealth. When he pops out of this, he gets the attack speed bonus, and CLG is in a line for the spray and praise press Dragon Descent, and it rips through the CLG lineup right there. Everyone going down, including Link and Afro.
Such a crazy play coming in. TSM wanting that fight and actually having to produce it by manipulating CLG into moving behind the Baron pit. They did exactly what they needed to. He came out with a 2,000 gold lead after that fight.
So TSM with a bit more of an element of control here. Obviously Wild Turtle, huge amounts of money now. He is going to be a much higher priority.
He's going straight for Infinity Edge,
Straight for Infinity Edge. There's not too much armor on the side of CLG right now. They have to fear for Bjergsen as well. Even though Bjergsen, this is not Not your typical Bjergsen game. CLG has neutralized him fairly heavily, but the threat of LeBlanc still exists. He can still close to zero out double lift or link at this point if he flanks around in the right way of team fights. CLG just continuing to try and keep map control here.
Yeah, that fight actually was a loss of vision control once they walked into the rush behind red. Not doing that again. You can see him hip to hip here, power in numbers as they move around the map once again. A few more core items coming out. Double Lift trying to finish up that last Whisper. And we actually see the Talisman of Ascension here. 25 minutes in, still not finished up as Alphamu is thrown in. That Spectral's Cowl as well. Gonna need that.
Trying to get Spirit Visage to increase his healing a little bit. Trundle is a monster in late game team fights, often because he has that percentage health heal when people die, as well as the resist steal. It's just such an amazing scaler if he can exist to the end of team fights.
Nien in the bottom lane now, probably what they would have wanted when Double Lift was down here, since Nien has that teleport, but it won't be much use as they're pushed up against the walls of their base. We see them pretty much backing, getting themselves set. Double Lift up in the top lane, only getting himself to 187. He is 5-1-5, but Wild Turtle picking up 6-1-3 now at 211. You see how much hurt he has put on the team.
This has not been a farming game, that's for sure. And a lot of Wild Turtle's success actually came because CLG was prioritizing objectives heavier than laning. And TSM was obviously laning a little bit more than objectives. They've been matching each other a little bit in both. But Wild Turtle was the recipient of a lot of that extra farm, and then he was still there when they had the big team fight. So we could use that very minuscule edge he gained through the farming and lane to get even more kills. And he is trying to turn himself into that monstrous Twitch carry.
Oh, Special, the Solar Flare once again. This is the Zenith Blade though, a good flash coming from Link there. Actually jump out, I should say, on the satchel.
No follow-up with the team there, so a miscommunication by the TSM team. Their X-Special said go, and for once the team did not follow. They were not in position to be fair.
Right.
And luckily it does not cost TSM much but X-Special's ultimate. That does leave a vulnerability here if CLG finds something.
As the teams push each other out here and figure out how much power they're dealing with. We look at our top lane matchup. It was Dyrus versus Nien for the featured matchup of the day, and with that swap, with everything that happened.
Oh, they caught Odd One.
That's the second time this has happened now. Odd One was kicked back in the last fight, throws down the Agony's Embrace. He is so tanky right now, not going down to Dexter or Nien. The Mega Inferno is able to get him. Dexter goes in on the Lee Syndrome and gets the kill with the resonating strike. Colleen coming across, a very nice pillar to initiate and keep it going. X-Special's getting bit up here. The Randuin's goes down. It's going to be one after the other as CLG is catching up.
And TSM bailed out near the end of that fight. Turtle decided not to fight. He did not have his ultimate, and most importantly, they knew they did not have the ultimate from X-Special. Now, Bjergsen is in the wings. Dyrus is in the wings. How difficult is this Baron Force? There's no spot on TSM, but a power play from CLG. This is huge.
This fight comes from, we were just talking about him, Nien's movement and positioning, but can they keep the whole team together here for a big power play? Still waiting on X-Special to come up. Odd One's not going to make it all the way back. They may not have enough to get the damage onto Baron, and now they're being chaotically strung about in front of the pit.
It is a hold off by TSM right there. An incredibly tense situation, but TSM is able to prevail in that one. Wow. They had to split up into two sides there, Dyrus and Bjergsen, to push and pull CLG in a direction, and unlike the CLG compositions of the past, they don't have that Sivir, they don't have the Karma, they have no ability to very quickly just out-move speed someone. The mobility is very closely matched in this game. So the push-pull from TSM was successful in getting them off the Baron.
TSM slowly pushing themselves into the right positions, making CLG have to back off on that Baron as we saw, but they are right back. Gonna get ward vision on this.
Get vision back.
Yep, they got 2 pinks to clear out, but they still have a pink on Wild Turtle to be used in this. He's quite far off. The teleport's up on Dyrus. We could have another go.
Wild Turtle is really strong right now with his Infinity Edge, especially when you consider there's no Randuins completed on anyone from CLG right now. And Randuins is extra good against Twitch because if he shoots through a Randuins, it will slow his move speed as well as his attack speed. But right now, it's just the wards now, so it's the attack speed that would be reduced. And CLG really needs to get at least one guy with a Randuins to hopefully close down on Wild Turtle. He is the priority in these fights for CLG to close on, and the rotations continue.
Well, they got what they need to take down that one guy. 4 pink wards right now in the inventory of CLG for any invisibility they have to deal with in the next fight. Minute and 40 on the clock. It's getting more tense for these fights, however. Doesn't look like Dexter's going to be able to thread the needle on that one, so they're just clearing out the mid wave to create pressure.
The teleport coming in.
It's going to be enough. Bjergsen on the backside. He's going to have Dyrus right there with Link so hurt on this. They may be able to force something.
Yen just went in.
Not
way before the team.
Too sure what that was about. That was an error.
He tried to match teleports with Dyrus, but CLG was not on the same page, and the ward he chose was dangerous. Then he didn't cancel his teleport and got punished for it. Now it is a 5v4 with Link extremely low and no Ziggs ultimate. TSM might just force this down. Burn at half.
Unfortunate engagement coming in for CLG. TSM going to try to take advantage here. Double lift just on the outside.
Danger.
He puts himself in the front.
Great
Dashes
calling.
backward during the calling to try and get the fadeaway damage. He's trying to orb walk it, and he does take down Dyrus in the matchup. Bjergsen's very hurt on the outside, but that's the clone. He actually goes down to the hands of Dexter, and TSM is still trying to find where the rest of the team is. A double kill. Beautiful play from Dexter and double lift, and they're going to keep going. A very low special. Odd one's out of mana, and they're going to have eyes possibly on Baron.
Are they doing this with 2 people? Eva's still alive with a smite. This is crazy by CLG. Can't say enough about the play by CLG, but this is a bold call.
Flash is not up. He's got enough to speed his way in and try to get the smite down, and they don't have vision on any side. Yan comes in. They got the pink ward to figure out if Odd One is even close, and he's backing.
What a move there by CLG. This is the best game I've seen in North America this year so far. 16-14, and these plays are ridiculous, Riv. Even just the kick from that last fight, from the very start. Double lift gets off a perfect calling. That is exactly the way Lucian is meant to be played. And also, Dexter able to jump through to finish off Bjergsen. That was critical. And then the savvy to know that there's 3 TSM members. Odd One thought he was baiting in that, and then to kick Turtle back into double lift and make the 2v3 an advantage for them is just amazing headiness from these guys. Already getting the synergy.
Double lift.
And the Baron after.
All the abilities to slice the pie on that one and get himself another kill with the dash. CLG picks up Dragon after picking up Baron. They bring themselves into a 2,000 gold lead. A turret up so far, and we haven't seen too many turrets drop lately. It has been at each other's throats.
This has been a really, really well-played game on both sides. While Turtle there was never able to get the fight he wanted, CLG jumped through and around the fight very well without Nien. The fact that they played that last fight without a tank is incredible. Dexter has turned himself into a tank now with the Randwins. But Turtle needs to find the right way of opening up in fights, and the Last Whisper is really important for that. Twitch needs to become a tank buster because he's going to be getting dove on very hard by Yen and Dexter, and without that Last Whisper, they would be able to beat him down. Additionally, Bjergsen has really been held in check this game by the overall rotations of CLG.
Something we see him having a lot more impact on. Really, Dyrus and the outside lanes have been the ones on the move. Bjergsen and Link were left to fend for themselves, and they're too good to kill each other one-on-one. So like you said, in check, definitely causing the impact plays here to be a lot less frequent. Dexter
Double lift
in and
was
out.
in the top lane, so they have to do the push and pull. X Special wanted to come at them with the ultimate, but Yen had to put the pillar down. Baron is not a factor right here. I think TSM right now is strong enough to stop turrets from falling. Diving on top of a Twitch on top of a turret is just too much.
Too much slow. A lot of things to lock you down. Dyrus and X Special will have their way under that turret. Top lane, double lift, doing what he can by himself, and this is CLG. The rotations now, trying to catch somebody on the rotation to where they're going. Not going to happen this time, as TSM is definitely playing with their hard hats on here. We'll see what double lift can do. That Sheen hitting off the turret from the Triforce.
Yeah, and even with a Negatron cloak, double lift takes a large amount of damage. Bjergsen didn't even DFG burst him there, but of course, large amounts of lifesteal there on Lucian. The siege is very dangerous for CLG. I actually feel like they're going to have to pull back pretty soon. A large wave in the bottom lane, someone would want to clean up. But they're sticking around. They want to try one more time at this one.
They have too much clear coming out. Very nice job for TSM to stop that one. Double lift. That was just a 2-hit there. He did get the ultimate on the duplicate, so he's not actually taking that much damage. If he gets full distorted on, it's going to be his death.
Staying very aggressive and trying to poke down the turret as much as possible. They knew Dyrus went back to base, so they're just trying to get pot shots in, though. Remember, though, these turrets now regen.
Yeah.
So if CLG doesn't either maintain this push until it goes down or return very shortly, all of this will be for nothing, and they're losing a substantial amount of creeps in the bottom lane. TSM wants to make something happen. I just don't know if it's in the cards.
I know Doublelift is cringing about missing this CS in the bottom lane, but they're doing what they can to get this inhibitor. It will give them such an advantage in a game that they've been on their heels. The wave clear is good. The siege will be there on the turret as well. Ooh, Doublelift. Just on the edge of getting Zenith's Blade over by X Special, but they are safe.
They don't have much Baron buff left either. They've spent a lot of this time just poking down this turret. I mean, the next wave is here. They have X Special pretty low. If they don't all in on this turret, all this is pretty much for nothing.
Not doing too much damage to Dyrus. Got a culling to be used here. Doublelift looks like they're going to be able to hit the turret up one after the other. They're really just timing this one out. They're saying 100 more damage on the next wave, and then the next wave.
Exactly. With how much they're getting on each wave, Riv, this next one would be the time they get it, but they've overstayed. They do not have Baron anymore, so this would be a fight that they could potentially lose if this one goes down. I expect a battle to happen like right now.
The part I like, though, when that turret's about to go down, the other team wants to go in very hard, but how can they when you are so low? The hook onto Dyrus. He is going to get shattered out of the fight. Bjergsen onto Doublelift, and he is going to stay alive. The Ignite will not take him down. Odd One is going to be in the backside, not able to help. Dien take the Lantern and a three-man satchel to burst out the fight. Turtle's got to walk through the minefield. The Q. Dexter, does he want it? And he hits it. It's going to be an all-out battle as they go for broke. CLG's got the Odd One, and they ace team SoloMid.
Riv, with the time left on the game, 30 to 40-second death timers and the minion wave, this could actually be the win for CLG.
This is absolutely amazing. Persevering through being pushed into their own base. Counter Logic Gaming comes back huge with movement around the map and strategic play, taking down the Nexus turrets and most likely the Nexus 37 minutes.
They have the minions, they have the win, they just defied TSM and destroyed them in 36 minutes.
It will not be a 4-game shutout for Team SoloMid. CLG takes the last one, and they're going to go 15-8 in the spring split so far.
A standing ovation, I'd say, from the CLG fans in the crowd.
Absolutely.
What a finish right there. CLG.
They are reeling.